Alright, let's talk about function tables. If we had a function like this, where we had x, we were trying to do f of x equals 2x squared, and we wanted to fill out our function table. And let's say that our domain over here is -1 and -2 and 2. Let's say that's our domain. So we're going to plug in our input, -1, and that would be 2 parentheses -1 squared. Now we're just going to follow PEMDAS. So PEMDAS is PE, M over D, A over S, and we're just going in order from left to right. So looking here, I have the -1 is in parentheses, but there's nothing to do in the parentheses, so I'm done with the parentheses step. Next is exponents. So I'm going to square the -1. So I'm thinking -1 times -1, which is a positive 1. I bring that down, and now it's 2 parentheses 1, which means 2 times 1, and 2 times 1 is just 2. So that first order pair is going to be -1, 2. Alright, let's talk about the second one. Same thing there. I have f of -2 equals 2 parentheses -2 squared. And again, I'm going to follow PEMDAS. I do parentheses first. There's nothing to do there. I do exponents next. -2 times -2 is positive 4. And then I bring down the 2 and the parentheses 4. And that means multiply. So 2 times 4 is 8. So that ordered pair is -2, 8. And then for my last one, the same deal, except I don't have a negative on this one. So it would be f of 2 equals 2 parentheses 2 squared. And again, I'm going to do parentheses, but there's nothing in there. So I do exponents, and 2 times 2 is 4. I bring down the 2. So 2 parentheses 4 means 2 times 4, which is also 8. So those are my 3 ordered pairs: -1, 2, -2, 8, and 2, 8. Alright, for an absolute value function table, I just want to make sure that I treat the absolute value part like parentheses. In other words, I'm going to do it first. So when I'm doing my PEMDAS, I'm going to treat it like the absolute value is part of a parentheses. I do it first. So here's an example of one like that. So if I had x is my input, I have f of x equals negative absolute value 2x plus 1. And let's say I just wanted to plug in a -2 and a 2. So here I'd have f, plug in a -2, would give me negative absolute value 2 times -2 plus 1. And I'm going to do the absolute value portion first. So inside of that absolute value, I'm going to do multiplication before I do addition. So 2 times -2 is -4 plus 1. So I get -4 plus 1, the negative signs on the outside. I'm going to do this first, treating it like it's in parentheses. So -4 plus 1 is -3 with the absolute value. And then -3, the absolute value, that means how far is that from 0 on a number line? And that would be 3 units. And I just bring down the sign, so it's a -3. So that would be my f of x for that one. So it would be -2, -3. Alright, doing it for the second example, I would have f of 2 equals negative absolute value of 2 times 2 plus 1. And again, I'm treating the absolute value like parentheses. I do it first. And here I'm going to multiply before I add. So 4 plus 1, which is 5. So I have the absolute value of 5, and I bring down that negative sign. So So the absolute value of 5 is 5. And then if I bring down the negative sign, that would still be a negative 5. So this one would be 2, negative 5. I hope that helps.